to another episode of our trio. And today on our trio, first we talking about the 1865 Philadelphia bombings. Then we talking about Mansa Musa. Then for the final topic, we are music. Our trio, let's go.
Do it, 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 do it.
The 1985 Philadelphia bombing. Kind of similar to Black Wall Street. This is something they hide from us in history. MOVE was the name of a black liberation group that Philadelphia PD bombed. The Philadelphia PD dropped the same kind of bombs that is used in war on its own civilians. 11 people were killed, including 5 children and the founder of the organization. 61 homes was destroyed. More than 250 citizens was left homeless. MOVE was an organization that stood up for black people. They engaged in a standoff with Philly PD for 15 months. And the mayor at the time was a black man, and he was against it.
Since. To date, 2 MOVE members of the organization have died behind bars, and the remaining 7 are still in prison. 7 years later, on May 13, 1985, the city of Philadelphia bombed the MOVE residential headquarters after Philadelphia police received neighbor complaints and an arrest warrant. That's according to authorities. Now, according to MOVE members and eyewitness accounts, police lobbed tear gas and over 1,000 rounds of bullets into the house. A Pennsylvania state helicopter dropped 2 one-pound bombs on the house, and firefighters pumped gallons of water into the house filled with adults and children. MOVE members claim that they were targeted because the organization fought to expose the American system for creating a way of long-term suffering and oppression. As a result, 11 MOVE members died, including John Africa and 5 children. To this day, the MOVE organization is still active, putting John Africa's teachings into practice and fighting for the release of the 7 MOVE members who remain behind bars. Just last month, one of the MOVE 9, Eddie Africa, was denied parole. MOVE member Ramona Africa stated that these members have been and will continue to be denied parole for refusing to take responsibility for a crime that they did not.
Next, we talking about Mansa Musa. He was the ruler of the Mali Empire in West Africa from 1312 to 1337. He's the richest man ever. Look it up, Google it. But I'm gonna let this young man tell you about him.
Okay, give it to me, son. Go ahead, read it.
Mansa Musa was the emperor of the wealthy Mao Emperor. Mansa is translated as king or emperor. When you think of rich, you can think Bill Gates. If you compare Mansa Musa...
Project your voice. Let me hear you.
If you compared Mansa Musa's $100 billion, that's right. Wait. Compare Mansa Musa's wealth to today's standards, Mansa Musa would be $400 billion. That's right, $400 billion.
I say.
I bet you didn't see the number popping up. He was a very rich king. Mansa Musa, a devout Muslim, he was well known across the northern Africa and the Middle East. He is known for his incredible Hajj and a holy pilgrimage to Mecca.
Go ahead, finish off.
He led thousands of people on a caravan from Mali to Mecca and back, during which he spent and gave away to the poor so much gold that it depressed his value over 12 years. He was a scholar and a great businessman. He grew into Timbuktu, part of his empire. At the time, Timbuktu, had one of the finest and most prestigious universities in the world.
It's that's called Timbuktu. So start back from there. It's called Timbuktu. Go ahead. Go back to the word that you know. Timbuktu.
Gal and Timbuktu.
There you go.
Part of emperor. At the time, Timbuktu had one of the finest and most prestigious universities in the world. And the Mali Emperor used most of West Africa. Word and the Mali Emperor traveled all the way across the Mediterranean into Europe.
Mediterranean
into Europe.
Or Europe, or what is that?
Europe.
Okay, I say. Hey, say knowledge of self is important.
Knowledge and self is important.
Hey, look at me. Look at me. Say it again.
Knowledge and self
Look at me.
Knowledge and self is support.
I'm a rock.
Hotel. We are music. As black people, when it comes to music, we are the founding father of it. No genre of music would be around if it wasn't for us. I'm gonna just name a few styles of music that we created. Number one, the blues. Next, we created jazz. Jazz emerged around the same time of the Harlem Renaissance. Next style of music, rock and roll. A lot of us think rock and roll is white people music. Wrong. Rock and roll is the blending of blues and country rock. This style of music can be traced back to the 1920s. When Elvis Presley started recording rock and roll, artists like Fat Domino, Ray Charles has been doing this for years before Elvis Presley was around. Elvis Presley basically learned everything he knew from us. And if you ever have time, look up Chuck Berry and see how much music they stole from him. Next style of music is the funk. The word funk was adopted by early black jazz musicians. James Brown, Kool in the Game, Stevie Wonder, and much more made this style of music famous. Next style of music is house, EDM. Evolving from disco, house music can be traced back to the late 70s. The next style of music we created is disco. It was basically soul music with an upbeat tempo. People who made this style of music famous are Isaac Hayes, Barry White, and many more. Of course, we created hip hop as well. Of course, we created rap. Of course, we created R&B. We even created Kumba music. A lot of the beats you hear in South American music, it dates back all the way to the African drums. Even a lot of Hispanic music you hear, a lot of the beats they use is based back to the African drums. So as black people, we are music.